Welcome to Quarter 3 Quiz 2, review of questions 13 through 19. If you need to see previous questions, there's a review of questions 1 through 12 available on the YouTube channel. Let's start with question 13. Last week we covered the New Deal, so these questions are all connected to the New Deal and the Great Depression. The list below includes several selected New Deal programs: Social Security, the Works Progress Administration, and the Civilian Conservation Corps. What did these programs have in common? Well, the Civilian Conservation Corps gave jobs to young men to conserve the environment and build parks, state parks. We talked a lot about the state parks in Tennessee, a lot of them being built by the Civilian Conservation Corps. The WPA gave jobs to build infrastructure. We talked about courthouses, schools, post offices, airports. Social Security provided a retirement safety net for the elderly, and all of these programs targeted individuals affected by the economic depression. Social Security, remember, banks collapsed, a lot of old people lost their savings, so a government retirement system was developed. So the answer would be A. Which was an important difference between Franklin Roosevelt and Herbert Hoover towards the Depression, their approach. So Hoover was the first president when the Depression began. We covered Herbert Hoover at the beginning of our units on the Great Depression. And then Franklin Roosevelt beat him in the 1932 election to become president, promising a New Deal. So is it A, Roosevelt was unwilling to establish federal jobs programs? We know that's true. We just saw the previous question. He created many government programs that provided jobs. Was Roosevelt unable to win congressional support? That's not true. Congress supported most of the New Deal. That's why it was passed. Roosevelt ignored economic issues during his terms in office. That is definitely not true. That's why he was elected, to focus on them. Roosevelt was more willing to use the power of the federal government to tackle economic problems. Yes, and we just saw that previous question. FDR passes many programs that are a part of his New Deal that are created by the federal government. Question 15. Herbert Hoover urged Congress to institute the Reconstruction Finance Corporation because he believed that the economy suffered a lack of credit, overemployment, too much regulation, a concentration of wealth. Well, the Finance Corporation was designed to provide credit to banks so that they could be loaned to businesses to help spur the stalled economy. So he believed that there wasn't enough credit available for loans to be made by banks because the banking system was under so much strain and the banking system was collapsing. Question 16. President Franklin Roosevelt's response to the Supreme Court decision that declared several New Deal laws unconstitutional was to do what? What did FDR want to do? If you remember, many of the justices, the 9 justices, were old conservative justices who didn't believe in the liberal New Deal policies. They ruled the Agricultural Adjustment Act and the National Recovery Administration unconstitutional. So FDR gets nervous and he wants to pack the court with 6 new Supreme Court justices. It's called court packing. So which one of these is connected to court packing? Well, here we go. Proposed legislation to increase the size of the court so that it would rule in favor of his New Deal programs. 17. The main purpose of New Deal measures such as the Securities and Exchange Commission and the Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation, the FDIC, these were both 2 vocab terms from our class. What was the purpose of both of these? Well, the Securities and Exchange Commission focused on regulating the stock exchange, and the FDIC insured Americans' bank deposits in banks. So which one of these is closest? Provide immediate employment. No, they didn't deal with jobs. B, develop rules to limit speculation. That's when people were speculating, raising the price of stocks, and to safeguard savings. That's what the FDIC did. So if you knew either of these definitions, you would be able to pick B, which was the correct answer. Okay, we have a political cartoon here. We analyzed this in class. We have FDR, Congress, the Supreme Court's back here. The ingenious quarterback is FDR. He's saying, I want substitutes at once. Those fellows don't know it, but they're through. I don't want to take them off the field. So he wants to add more. Look at this political cartoon above and use it to answer the following question. What event is this cartoon depicting? Well, it's the Supreme Court. FDR, we just saw a question about this, so we see court here, court packing. And our final question, a major reason for creating the Tennessee Valley Authority, which we see here in this picture, in 1933 was to do what? Well, we talked about the benefits of TVA. They created dams that provided electricity, jobs, flood control. This region was incredibly poor. There's very little electricity available. So definitely not to provide health care. Wasn't aimed at encouraging African Americans to settle the valley. It wasn't to evacuate farmers. It was to help them improve economic conditions in the rural region. All of this improved economic conditions. All right, that's it for your review for quiz 2. Good luck on quiz 3.